Hi guys, JP here. Oh, sorry about bumping that. I wanted to show you guys, I haven't done this yet, so I'm doing this on camera. I have not attempted this. I want to take apart the Luke RGB LED from LGT company, the LGT store. Because I want to see how the internals, I mean, they sent me a picture of what they use. But I just wanted to, see how easy or hard it was to get to the internals, and even I might take it a step further and see if I can't get, I think there's a connector up in here that connects the top module with the chassis down here, because I want to do a Neopixel conversion on this. Not right now. I want to see how this is going to go before I see what parts I will need. So let's just start. Take the pommel off. Like I said, I have not done this at all yet, so this is not rehearsed. So I might run into issues, I might not, I don't know. That's the bottom of the chassis. So this does unscrew, but what it ends up doing is you're going to just twist wires and twist wires. And I did it once just to see, but I was careful. But there is the button there, and on the opposite side is a set screw, which I'm assuming holds the chassis in place. And there is a slot, I don't know if you can see, you can kind of see there's a slot cut on either side of the button, and it is spring loaded. So I'm assuming this is a spring loaded button that actually hits a recessed smaller button on the chassis. I don't think this button is wired to anything. That's my guess. So this you could probably unscrew with, like, you see how it's slotted, so you could probably take like a dime or something and depress it and get the button out. But I don't think I'm gonna have to need to do that. I think this set screw might be the only thing I have to remove, and we'll find out. So set screw, let's see if this, see, yep, it's independent now, so I can unscrew, and I'm going to do this backwards so I can hold the chassis so it doesn't twist the wires. Spin it the wrong way. It's backwards on camera. I'm trying to keep an eye on what I'm doing. So I'm holding the chassis and unscrewing the handle so I don't twist the wiring, because that can break solder joints. So there is something hitting, and it might be, I'm trying to see inside here. So that button is recessed a little bit. I'm trying to see what's holding that in. We can see the battery. And I'm going to pause the video and come back and see what I might need and let you guys know. Okay guys, so I did figure it out. I just cut to the next part of the video. So what I had to do, the button that's slotted, you probably can't see it. Let me see. See that little in from the back side of the button on the inside? The stem of the button actually sticks down into the handle, which makes it hard to get the chassis out. So you do have to take that slot, and I just used my, I had like a little washer or something, but you can back it out counterclockwise, and it'll bring that recess. It's hard to see. There it is. It'll bring that recess back enough where you can slide the chassis out. I still kept it all in one. It's still wired. So there's the chassis. There's the soundboard. And when I put it back together, you're going to have to line it up. I don't know if you can see that, but there is the actual button. And I took the battery out, of course, because So it's not bad. You just back out that screw, the button, the ring around the button can loosen. It's threaded, and back it out a little bit. Then you'll be able to slide this after you get that little retention screw out first on the other side. So you can get to the chassis. The only thing that I see that's, for me, I'm going to want to do a Neopixel setup, which I might want to cut wires. I don't know. Inside there, you can see that white, it's a connector. So the wiring from the board and everything else goes to the connector. If you take that connector apart, then you'll be able to undo that set screw, and then you'll be able to pull the LED module out from this end, and it'll be free. But what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do it in this video, but this is a little tricky to get to, because it's down in there about I don't know, an inch and a half, but it's really, there's no play in that wiring. So I'd have to have like really long set of needle nose, or probably 2 sets of needle nose. You'd have to, I mean, I could probably pull this apart easily, but getting it plugged back in would be a little bit tricky, trying to hold the one end straight and getting that plug from this end down to plug together. That'd be a little tricky because it's recessed in 1 to 2 inches down in there, and there's no play. So when I go to do a Neopixel setup, what I'm thinking about doing is just using this chassis. And I'm probably going to cut the wiring, because what I'm going to do is have more longer wiring to have more play. And I'll make it so the plug is probably down out here, and then you can just tuck it in, because that's kind of, you know, it makes it easy to unplug and plug back in. But I'm going to probably order a Profi board from Dark Wolf Sabers. They're pre-programmed, and that should fit in here, because this is wide enough. It'll fit a Profi. I mean, they sell these in a Profi version, so I'm sure they use the same chassis. So I'm going to probably order a Profi board, pre-programmed. I'll order some wiring from Amazon. Trying to remember what wiring a lot of guys use. It's in the Profi manual. I think it's like 28 gauge, I believe. I'm not sure. It's different than what they use for like the speaker and stuff. The actual data lines for, because what I'm going to end up doing is ordering Dark Wolf Sabers actually also has, they sell the pogo pin modules that are made for the Neopixel blades instead of the LED, and they make them in, I think, a couple different sizes, and they also have a low profile module, which is made more for like this, the Leia saber, the Luke, the kind of the thin neck series, because they're kind of shallow in here. So if I order that PCB end, which is like for people that don't know what that is, it's kind of it's a circular circuit board that has brass, like these spring-loaded pins on it. And those pins you solder into that board. So I'm not new to soldering. I know how to solder, so that's why I'm going to be doing this. But anyway, and it comes with a plastic housing, the mount that you mount that circuit board into, and that mount will slide down into here, and you can use that set screw to hold that holder in place. And then you'll be able to use the Neopixel light blades that they have like a plate on the bottom that contacts with those pins, and that's where it gets the connection. But I'll just have to wire it up to the Profi board, I'll use probably the same speaker. I might switch it out, but we'll see how it sounds. But that's that. I mean, here's the battery that came in it. It says Saber Studio. They kind of tend to use the same batteries. Doesn't really give you an amperage on it. Oh, there it is. It does it on this one. My other one didn't have it. So this is 3600 milliamp, 10 amp battery. I like to use, personally, I use 15 amp. I do have some other 10 amps. They work. There's one that you can get. I'll show it to you here real quick. And this is what came in my TXQ saber, and it also same type they use in like the pack store, but I ordered it from 18650 battery store, and it's an NCR 18650 BD battery. I don't know if that's focusing there. It's probably not focusing, but anyway, it's about, I'm trying to remember how much this one was. With shipping, it was like 10 bucks, I think. And this, see, one's from the Saber, one's from that store online, the 18650, and the other one's from, was out from TXQ. And they're the identical battery. It's just this one had like a little plastic coating on the outside, but they're the identical battery. These are only 10 amp, but I do want, you know, have a couple 15 amp. I think that's what most of them recommend for Neopixel setups. This is only an LED setup, so 10 amp is, you don't want to really go more than that. 10 amp is just fine. I'll be switching it to Neopixel, but I just want to give you guys a look at it. So let's try to see what we can do for reassembly. So basically that was this in a nutshell. It's a little tight down there. I don't want to unplug it because I don't know if I'll be able to get that plugged back in. So put the battery back in, and you can see the switch if I hold it in. Oh, maybe not. Let's see here. Hope I didn't get something loose there. Hold on. Sorry about that, guys. Thought I messed something up, but all it was the contact was bent on for the battery a little bit, pulling it out. So I just made sure they were contacting good. So, but you can see now there is. We see that light. There is an LED light on there. So. Okay, so what I'm going to do is slide this back on. I'm going to see how this looks good. What you're going to want to do is that little stem there, that button that's sticking up, is going to have to be in line with the inside of that. Because when you push this button down, when it's fully seated down, that's what depresses that button on this little circuit board to activate. So it's going to have to be lined up. And you can see there's a bunch of holes there. Well, that last one you can see is a little worn out. That's because that's where the set screw was. So I got to line that up. So I'm going to slide this over top here. Okay. And probably what I'm going to do is get the set screw lined up first. And just kind of look through the hole, and I counted, and I know that's where the set screw is, so I'm going to get that in there. And that should line the button up, I hope, on the other side. If I have to loosen it and adjust it a little bit, I will. Let me get that in anyway. And that looks like it's lined up. And I should have done that last, but now these are straight. I'm still going to be able to screw it. It's not going to bother me, but I would advise screwing this tube in before you do what I just did. That way you can hold the chassis. And let's just go ahead and do that. I just wanted to be able to work with a little easier. But I'll go ahead and do it the correct way. So let me get that out. Because you don't want to keep spinning these wires and twisting them up. So I'm just going to hold the end of the chassis while I'm threading the handle back in. I just wanted it a little easier to see. that's in. So if I go from this side, now I'm trying to see the, see, it does make it a little tougher. Makes it a little tougher to see those holes. We'll give that a go. Of course, I don't have a flashlight over here with me right now, which I should. Maybe I'll be lined up. I think that's the one I'm looking for. Yeah, okay. I could kind of see down in there and see that that little bit worn out hole, that was the one that the set screw was in before. So it's a little harder to put the handle on and then find this hole to set the screw, but oh, my wrench. But I'm just trying to give you all, you know, a little video to show you what you might be getting into when you're like, oh, let me see if I take this apart, you know. So since I have other plans for this, it didn't matter to me if something happened. And then I'm just using my fingernail. Well, at least I'm lined up right. You know I'm lined up right, so I'm just gonna spin this to tighten back down the button. It's a little awkward. And that's gonna come over. Head. Okay. I didn't have to loosen it much before for the chassis to clear, so I only had to turn it a little bit. But that's back down. You can probably tighten a little more. This one I think is fine. So you click, you can. Works just fine. Okay. So, alright guys, so get this back on. Just giving you all a heads up on what to look for, what you're going to see when you try to attempt this part. So, excuse me. So, there is a plug in here. I don't like how it's recessed down further. It makes it a little hard to get to unplug and plug if you had to work on something. But, see, that's why they're probably, you know, a lot of places want you to send it to them to work on it. But, alright guys. Well, I hope this helped a little bit anyway. And y'all have a good one.